nitawafukuza. Mkinikujia nitawakujia. Kikiharibika kiharibike. Kama ni mbaya mbaya. Kama ni noma noma. Ama namna gani? Namna gani? Hatuwezi kuwa sacrificial lamb. Huwezi kututumia unavyotaka alafu ututupe. Inawezekana hiyo?
Kama muliona ya kwa hapa ni walkover, hapa ni stopper. Before you reach to Oburu, you will pass through me. Before you reach to Junet, you will pass through me. Before you reach to Gladys, you will pass through me.
Okay, the former governor of Mombasa and the current governor of Mombasa, Joho, says that huwezi tutumia alafu tutupe, and Abdul Somari is saying that you must go through him to get to the party leader. Of course, he is one of the deputy party leaders within ODM. But at the same time, one of the other senior members of ODM, Senator James Orengo, sorry, Governor James Orengo, had a few things to say. Watch.
People in the party, they are behaving as if ODM is the one that needs Ruto. Is Ruto that needs ODM? Kwa sababu ameshindwa. I'm not afraid to say. I'm not afraid to say. I have nothing to fear but fear.
Nothing to fear but fear. Now, Senator Okech, as you respond to what you wanted to say, who is ni nani anatisha hawa viongozi? What is CS Joho talking about?
What we are seeing at the ODM at 20 should not have happened if we had taken a step to reflect. After, remember, just 2 days ago is when it was exactly 1 month since we lost our leader, who was a huge figure in Kenya. And I think that, some of us who are reflective might even be forced to try to think about why can't we just keep quiet and see how things play. Okay? But it's a hard time to keep quiet. And I wanted to urge you, and even the media and all our members, not to have a simple conversation. Because it's not a simple conversation, because different people had different relationships with Raila Amolo Odinga. Right. Starting from the daughter Winnie, to Junet Mohammed, to the leaders you've seen speaking there. All these had special personal relationship with Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, and therefore, if we simplify this thing into who is wrong and who is right, we'll lose the script. And that's why you see I avoided the urge of even saying the names of people who are managing the broad-based arrangement, which we questioned, simply because in Raila Amolo Odinga's time, when the broad-based government came about, he purposed as much as possible to be able to use the organs of the party to manage that relationship. And that organ of the party, we have got the National Delegates Conference, which is the highest level which Winnie is talking about, as going to think about national leadership. And then we have got the NGC, then we have got the NEC where I sit from, then we have got a small group called the Central Committee. And that relationship during Raila Amolo Odinga's time has all been a one-man show in as much as it appears as such. The management of broad-based relationship was managed by the Central Committee with the mouthpiece of Raila Amolo Odinga. You remember even when we were signing the 10-point agenda with the broad-based government, it came from the Central Committee, which even the SGU, my friend Dr. Mogangi was referring to, is a member of that Central Committee. And that's why I was telling you that currently the people who are managing that relationship are a variety of top leaders of ODM who are gathered within the Central Committee, including Honorable Junet, including Honorable Sifuna, including Honorable Gladys Wanga, and many other members that are not mentioned in the Central Committee.
As you said that the late Raila Odinga used the organs of the party in making decisions, when was any of those decisions, including the broad-based participation in the broad-based government, when was any of those decisions ratified by the National Delegates Convention?
The Central Committee has got power to proceed with some decisions, okay? And that's why I'm telling you that even on the matter of broad-based, after Honorable Oburu Odinga was conferred the acting party leader, immediately after we came from the burial, the Central Committee met. Our SG of the party communicated the position of the Central Committee with regard to broad-based government. I think that what Winnie was questioning was the idea of the national leadership element of the party. Because if you look at all the party deputy leaders, and this is not me, this is in the public domain, all the national party leaders, the chairperson of the party, the organizing secretary, everybody who is in the central committee, as per now, majority of them came as recommended acting members. Okay? And then, after that acting, Baba had purposed that they are acting until we hold a national election. And that national election is held by the National Delegate Conference. Yeah. And I think that the simple conversation that we might be tempted to have here, because it's a juicy one, is questioning the party leadership position, which I think is a dicey one, because right now we want a party that can be united by wisdom, by all this, and that's why I would say that 622A was an important one to look at in the party.
So that's
but
what
I think that
Senator
the question...
how come that through it all,
yes,
the broad-based government was born, I think, in August 2024. How come so far there has been no intention to hold an NDC? There has been intention, and I keep on repeating for you that Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, up until 1 month before he passed on, we were holding grassroots elections, and he was very clear about them, and he was very clear that all the acting party leaders will go to a national election that will be convened. The time had not been specified, and that's why I said that the agenda of the ODM at 20 might have had a mishap by having an NDC held alongside ODM at 20. I mean an NGC held with ODM at 20, which I cannot blame anyone because you're confusing me. NGC, NDC, ODM at 20.
That's what I'm saying. ODM at 20,
yes.
One of the agenda of ODM at 20 was to hold an NGC, for which all leaders who had been in acting position, right, including the deputy party leaders, were confirmed in that. And I'm saying that maybe wisdom, and you don't blame anybody.
Can the National Governing Council confirm leadership, or it's the National Delegates Convention?
It's the National Delegates Conference, which I think should not have been held. It wasn't held, but even if it was to be held, it should not have been held with ODM at 20, because ODM at 20 has got a different agenda, okay, which is celebrating the party's history, one. Number two, reviewing what is going on in the country in the context of the struggles that ODM has gone through. I want you to imagine if Raila Odinga was in that ODM at 20. What could he have talked about? It is not this pie and party position. It could have been the struggle that has been there in view of the struggles that are going on now, and cast a vision for us going forward.
All right, Senator Kecha,
with where the party should go.
Let's hear from the Secretary General and one of the deputy party leaders as they spoke during those celebrations.
Wanasema mambo ambayo waliambiwa na baba wakiwa peke yao. Kila mtu anasema hiyo, na najua hatuwezi kusikizana ni nini baba alituambia tukiwa peke yetu.
Sisi kama chama 2027 lazima tutengeneze serikali. Tumekaa katika upinzani miaka nyingi. Tutatengeneza serikali na wale watu wako na fikra kama yetu.
Now, the second part of Senator Sifuna's statement was that if the party cannot agree on what Raila Odinga told individuals in their private meetings, why then not agree on what Raila Odinga told everyone while he was with them all? Mheshimiwa Amisi, there is deep suspicion that continues here. You hear Governor Orengo saying that it is William Ruto who needs ODM and not the other way around. What is the contribution of President Ruto to the troubles that ODM faces today?
Naturally, we're warned. We've been warning this, our ODM party about this broad-based. And it's only a fool who does the same thing several times and expecting different results. It will not end. This broad-based...
Sam, is that a good question, first of all? You know,
what is
first we were analyzing ODM, and now you have asked what is the President Ruto's contribution to the troubles within the ODM.
Okay, Senator Maina, you know, questions are innocent. We judge them based on the answers they produce. Let's just hear what...
It's here. I'll have a right of rebuttal.
Yes.
For sure you will.
Definitely. And before I was rudely interrupted, it's not the manners I'm used to.
Just go on.
Yeah, broad-based government is going to destroy ODM. If it continues like this, then of course there'll be no ODM. Why? because it is not a normal coalition. It is not, you cannot locate broad-based in any legal framework. It's not the coalitions we made with Kibaki. It's not, it's not even equal to the handshake we did with Uhuru, because there was some form of negotiations on BBI and other issues. Broad-based, how did it come about? People should need to ask that question. Broad-based came about out of agitation of young people in the street. It was never envisaged. Cannot be located in our legal framework. It's not there. So that's why even Winnie is saying this is a complicated marriage that needs to be managed differently, not by party structures. You cannot say that we have leaders who are working with William Ruto and we expect them to come and tell us how far we have achieved our 10-point agenda. It is a complicated situation that came about just to calm down in the wisdom of our leader. And he did explain to us why he let some members join the government. Yeah. He said, yes, I know it is uncomfortable to you for what you've done, but we were losing the country, and I had to do this. He did explain to some of us. And we know the circumstances. And if McHugh also, just like Edwin say, if we say what Baba told us privately or even with other people, people will be shocked. Some of these ministers shouted here carelessly. They just went to government on their own. Baba found them there. Okay? Is
that so?
Yes. Yeah, this is what exactly Baba told us before.
Which
when all of them. All of them, when they waited for Baba to go to Dubai, but before Baba comes to make a coalition agreement or some sort of agreement, they were already State House begging for jobs. So, and Baba, because...
But CS Joe is saying that wasifanywa kafara, they should be sacrificed.
That's why I'm shocked that they can talk like that. One is actually a minister on behalf of ODM. So who is doing kafara to which? You are the one using our position in the government. You are supposed to be thankful for the party in the first place, that you are serving in the government that you never participated to make, courtesy of the party. Then you are here lecturing the same party. These are people who never believed in this party. These are people who have been masquerading around Baba. They never believed, because if you look at people who have believed in Baba, you look at the way Winnie is speaking, different. You look at the way Ruth Odinga is speaking, different. You look at the way Oburu is speaking. These are people who have traveled with Baba the journey of liberation. They understood him. But these others are masquerading around him. They have been doing that for years, pretending to be part and parcel of Israel. They have no ideological orientation with Israel. Completely. That's why they are now left. They are ready to dismantle the party. Some of them are saying they'll go with pieces. You know, is that why you are a senior member of the party threatening to go with a piece of a party?
Who said you will take a piece?
You play the entire clip.
No, tell me.
I think, I don't know, you just play. You've been playing. You play the entire clip. You'll see them.
Okay.
They are here, Baba. These people are here. They are lecturing us. They never believed in Baba's ideology.
Right.
And that's why I say, you don't need to interrupt me. People don't like the truth.
Let him finish.
The truth is very uncomfortable. I didn't come here to make people comfortable. I came here to talk to Kenyans, and especially the members of ODM who are out there. They're crying. They need somebody to speak for them. People have invested in this party emotionally, physically, and also financially. They're out there. They need a direction. They need to know what next. So you can't come here massaging things that are destroying our party. We are not helping it. We need to speak it out. People are wrong. For you to come and speak such things.
What do you suggest as a path to a solution? Because he says that you need a moment of reflection. One would imagine that when you're turning 20, that's a major anniversary. That will be the moment.
The first thing I said, Sam, and I've been loud. Me, I'm always very brutally honest. Okay? The first thing I said is that first, giving Oburu that position when we were burying Baba, it was a wrong timing. It could have been endorsed anyway. But why in a hurry? Okay, we've said it, and you see the repercussions. Then we said, okay, we were to do ODM at 20. But now Baba has left us. We are still mourning. People are mad out there. Baba was not an ordinary human being. Baba was in the hearts of people so deeply. Some people have cried. Some people are still crying. So why can we just postpone? Is anybody going to die out of postponing an ODM at 20, celebrate after a month or so? They never listen to us. They say, you know, these guys are just Kenyawan, they're on their own, they're young. They don't know. A person who has been elected twice, you are telling me he's young, you know? So it is a people who feel, there's a cabal of people in the party who just feel that they hold all the powers to determine what they want to do, and they will not listen to anybody, because had they listened to some of us, then some of these things that happened, it could not have happened.
Who is this not listening to you?
Mostly the leaders who are there currently, all of them. We try to talk them and ask them, why is the hurry? Just relax. I mean, we'll have the celebration.
Is it the deputy party leaders? Is it the executive?
The ones who are speaking, the ones you have just showing them speaking. You see the way they're speaking?
I've shown Senator Orengo.
Show more. I don't know where you're hiding. Can you? You know them.
You know them. You just don't want to name them. Now, Senator Maina, you raised the question of why President Ruto should be brought into this conversation. He actually did bring himself. Let's watch what he said at the ODM at 20 Founders Dinner.
I just want to assure you of my goodwill, my support in every way, that you will need any support from this administration. There are members of ODM in senior positions in this administration. You will not lack the network to be able to access government. And I am very proud, by the way, of the contribution of the ODM members in this broad-based administration. Everything I am talking to you about, my Minister for Finance here knows. He knows where we need to move the country. And he knows it is part of the ODM plan and manifesto.
You will not lack the network to access government. Senator Maina, your response.
Let me first state the statement that the president gave. He gave as a leader of UDA and as a president and as a critical party in the broad-based arrangement. And what he has done is to reassure that from his side, the broad-based arrangement continues on. And the one thing we can all agree on is that Raila Amolo Odinga, when he departed, even just before he departed, he left the party of ODM understanding very clearly that ODM was in the broad-based arrangement. And I don't think that fact is contested. In fact, if you listen to how the president is speaking from a person he worked very closely with until his demise, he's assuring the ODM party that nothing has changed about their access to the broad-based government. Nothing has changed about what he had already committed to in terms of including the ODM within the government. He gave a very assuring statement. And if you look at what Winnie has questioned, Winnie is speaking very different from what Governor Orengo is saying. Yeah. Winnie is saying she has noticed there is a risk of political brokers. You she said that there are some people wanauza chama usiku. Yeah. She's looking at the management part of the broad-based arrangement. So her conversation is not about whether the ODM is in broad-based or not. Yeah. She's affirming the father and the party leader of ODM left ODM within the broad-based arrangement, but she's concerned who will be negotiating for them in a way that the party will have the confidence that they are not being shortchanged or they are getting what they signed up for in the turn-point agenda. Indeed, if you recall very well, Senator Sifuna, the SG of ODM, may not quite fully agree with the broad-based arrangement, but he's the one who read out the 10-point agenda in the presence of Raila Amolo Odinga, showing that in spite of his differing opinion with the broad-based arrangement, yet he complied with what had been agreed by the ODM. Yep. Now, Governor Orengo brings in a different question. And Governor Orengo is now saying that who needs who more? He says President Ruto needs ODM more than we need the UDA administration. his conversation tends to go towards looking for an opportunity to rock the boat, like from within, like we don't need these people. So
but what do you
let's
think?
Be
Who needs the other more?
Yeah?
Who needs the other more?
Everybody needs one another. If you look at what was being stabilized when this arrangement was put together, we all need Kenya, do we not? We need a stable nation. We need a stable country. And for our democracy to be matured and to be stable, we must have stable political parties.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the two top political parties as very stable, even from within, you start battles, because what I've seen now is a battle within ODM that even affects the coast region. When I hear CS Joho speaking and the way the governor is responding to him, the governor of Mombasa is responding to CS Joho. They are speaking from different scripts. CS Joho is trying to affirm back his position in the ODM, while the governor is now saying, it's like the regional kingpins. You know, I say the regional kingpins, and I don't know whether regional kingpins can drive you to presidency. And we need to, one day you call us, we talk about the regional kingpins. Because I don't know whether regional kingpins drives you to presidency. In Kenya today, we should be talking about unifying everybody and coming together. So when Joho speaks, everybody's in a different conversation, and that is the worrying trend now.
Because actually, as you speak about that, because again, you've had the honor of establishing political parties that end up winning power. Should a cabinet secretary be speaking the way he is?
No, for the time being, even just first ignore that. There is a deeper conversation beyond even now confining the cabinet secretary like Joho to speak just as a minister. He's now not speaking as a minister, by the way, in that meeting. Joho is addressing that meeting as a very serious leader and stakeholder within ODM. So he's not even thinking about his ministry at that point. So if you address that issue,
so
because that one is issue.
Because CS Joho is a state officer with a specific mandate to lead a ministry and to implement the decisions of the cabinet. No, just hold on for the question. Should a CS be speaking as such? And I'm asking this because there are 22 CSs. What if each of them goes to their backyard to speak whatever language they want?
If you try to stop CS Joho from speaking the way he did, they are sent to the government by the ODM. It's still about the broad-based arrangement. And he's getting his positioning and reminding the other members that, hey, don't push too hard. I'm here. I'm like one of you. I have done my building block here. Just like Winnie is coming from, she never spoke like that before when the father was there. She wasn't very keen. I think she let the father be. But now she's found herself in a situation where she's watching maybe what the father and the party leader build and has seen the threat and something has come out. It's what Senator Eddie said. Maybe people are mourning differently within that arrangement because of the relationship they have. But I like what Senator Sifuna has said. And he has a point. If everybody in ODM comes and says, me, I had my own meeting with Raila on this day when we were walking or running, or we were in this meeting and you, Eddie, was not there, I miss you, were not there, I miss you, even missed the ODM at 20 in Mombasa. So they say this one had this conversation, the other one had that conversation. You know, people will even take advantage, leaders will even take advantage of that claiming, because I've seen sometimes when a person departs, family members start to say, aliniachia hii shamba, ama aliniachia hii. And sometimes they are typical lies, by the way. They were not even told anything close to that. And the one point I can agree with right now, because Baba had a relationship with everybody, let's put that aside, because that was a personalized relationship, especially if he told you something when you are just the two of you and there was no that witness.
Yeah.
Managing ODM now will require very strict use of the party structures.
Okay.
Because if the 10-point agenda was signed by ODM, and it was signed to last up to 27 or whatever the timing is in that 10-point agenda, it will call on the central committee to make decisions that are also validated and dialogued among the membership. Short of that, Sam, you will hear many allegations. We will have as many, I don't know how many members ODM has, maybe 5 million or 6 million? More than that. You will hear almost half the membership saying, Baba told me that, Baba told me this. The only way they can now validate is to accept they will need to move on, get a structure, and get informed by the legacy Baba wanted at the time he departed. Because at the point where he departed, and thankfully, he spoke so much about peace and unity. Every time even members of ODM rose up to say, oh, this arrangement with the Kenya Kwanza, he quickly stopped and said, let's have and respect the broad-based arrangement.
All right. Let's just listen to some few more leaders, then I can hear from DJ Machakos as we conclude on this matter of ODM.
Kama chama tuko na msimamo, na kama chama tumeamua jambo moja. Tumesema ya kwamba Baba alituacha katika ile broad-based government. Ikifika 2027 wafuasi wa chama wataamua vile tutatembea.
Hatutasaliti msimamo wa Raila Amolo Odinga. Tuko kwa broad-based kwa sababu hapo ndio Baba alituacha.
Mimi naunga ile uamuzi wa chama cha ODM ya kufanya kazi pamoja na chama cha UDA. Lazima wanachama wa ODM wafanye kazi na Wakenya wengine ili tusongeshe nchi mbele. Kama mnaheshimu Baba, kama mlikuwa mnapenda Baba, let us ensure the Ruto government implements the 10-point agenda.
Sorry. No, once again, you can see that, just hold on, Senator Ketch. You can see that every other person is speaking from a totally different script. Senator Sotsi is very clear. He is the deputy party leader of the DM, but he calls it the Ruto government. The others are saying Tuko broad-based government. DJ Mungangi, where shall ODM go from here?
That's the wrong person.
No.
Okay, let him have his
Let's hear it.
opinion.
No, Caleb, you have created a serious brand of yourself. Don't destroy it, please. You are a leader who listens.
Let's just go ahead and give the answer.
Where do they go?
Yeah.
My unsolicited proposal to them would be they need to retreat and they rethink. Because if you look at keenly what Win has said and what others have said, do you know that one statement, it's like even Win is questioning the capability of the Central Management Committee that manages the relationship called broad-based government. So I think they need to go back, sit down, discuss from the top level, and in their whatever they are going to discuss, they need to also have the ODM history and what formed ODM, what meant ODM to be what it is today. The pro-people movement that it is in their agenda. Then for that they craft something that will take the party to the future. Go out there and implement it. There's something here very critical. This broad-based position, I think is dividing so many leaders within ODM. Many leaders have different opinion. And there's something, those who are for it religiously are not telling Kenyans. What did Baba mean when he said the true position of the party is communicated through Secretary General? Nobody is challenging that position or talking about it publicly. But what we are seeing consistently is for the beneficiaries of broad-based. They are really fighting for it. Even when you hear their sentiments in this forum, actually, before the late leader of ODM cautioned them, remember some had even gone to an extent of becoming Ruto re-election youth wingers, everywhere issuing all manner of things, until the party leader came forward and cautioned them, told them, we did not discuss anything beyond 2027. Right. So please tone down. But even as we continue, you can see that those who are perceived to be very strong in this broad-based thing, they are very much passionate And anything that might have ODM maybe have a different opinion on that, they are truly ruthlessly against. So I think it is the time going forward. ODM needs to recollect themselves, sit down, discuss all these things privately, as they are saying, but some of them cannot be a family affair.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes, in closing.
There are three things that were said here that I think that as a next member of ODM I must actually vent on. One is what was said by my brother Caleb Amisi about the character of individuals who spoke in different tones there. I think this is the time, Caleb and other party members who might have divided opinion, that we must have compassion. Yeah. I don't think this is a time of looking at who is right or who is wrong in ODM, one. And number two, also who has contributed the most or who has contributed the least in ODM. Yeah. If you look at Honorable Joe, he has given just as much as blood and sweat in ODM just as any other person. If you look at Winnie Odinga, he has given just as much as Junet has given, as Eddie has given. Some of these street battles, we have all been there. We have been tear gas. People have contributed their resources in ODM. The fact that somebody has put a strong opinion on the table, like Winnie did, or any other member did on the table, does not make them any mandarins, if you may use that word in the context of what my brother Caleb has talked about. It is time to bring that compassion, that where is this point of view coming from? And that's why I said the agenda of ODM at 20 ought to have been just celebration of what will strengthen the party.
Who brings that compassion?
Sorry?
Who brings that compassion?
Who brings that compassion is a responsibility with all of us, but the leadership will come from our central committee in terms of organizing avenues for which this can happen. For instance, since Baba died, we haven't had, for instance, a PG. Parliamentary group meetings and parliamentary community is part of the NDC that my sister Winnie is calling about. Maybe if we had reflected on the agenda of ODM at 20 in those kind of avenues, we could have been more compassionate. But I want to strongly say,
is it possible in the current setup, because every other person has their own opinion?
Yes.
Who rallies the people together? Because Raila Odinga was able to do that.
And that's where I was going next, on the issue of putting Honorable Odinga there as an acting leader at that time. Although right now it has been ratified by the NDC. NGC, yes. I think that we trust Oburu Odinga and our central committee, and I've said this time without number, that ODM has never been a one-man show even during Raila's time, and it's not going to be now. Okay. And the central committee met previously, where the issue of broad-based government, by the same voice that Mwagangi is saying of the SG, was ratified, that there is no doubt on the issue of broad-based government. And the reason why I wanted to vent on this, Sam, is that there seems to be two factions in ODM when you talk about the future of ODM, which you have asked, in terms of the strength of character of ODM. There is one faction that sees that the strength of ODM is determined by being anti-broad-based, and the other one sees that the strength of ODM is being determined by being for broad-based. And I'm telling you that where I sit, none of those defines the strength of ODM. We're having a different conversation. The strength of ODM is determined by the vision that Raila set and constant fighting for what is value judgment for the people of ODM, which we can best achieve if we are rallied into those conclaves of leadership structures of ODM to be able to reflect and see how we go to the major organ of NGC. But don't apportion blame games of even the people who organize this ODM at 20 and blame them for having done a very fantastic job to even rallying us to have this convention. They might have had a small mishap here and there, but that is not something that takes away their contribution to the party. Right. It is something that they did it in good faith. That's what we see always in our party when we give our leaders opportunity. And they might have messed here and there in terms of the agenda, but that's fine because we are mourning. Baba's loss is big and is a fresh wound that we still all have had. And there is nothing wrong with having one or two mistakes that must have happened, but we must be compassionate with one another.
That's fine. And I'm just looking at the objects and values, aims, objectives, and values of the political party ODM, and one of them is that to promote democratic political governance within the framework of pluralistic democracy based on the popular will of the people, exercised through grassroots participation in party activities, universal suffrage on principles of transparency and accountability in public affairs, justice, liberty, equality, and respect for the rule of law, and a few other issues there. Then I'm also looking at the party organs of the party. And they are arranged in a hierarchical manner. The topmost is the National Delegates Convention, that is why it's NDC. The second level is National Governing Council, NGC. Then National Executive Committee, NEC, and then the Central Committee, in that order. And obviously, I believe that the National Delegates Convention is the one that has the highest decision-making on the direction that a political party must go. When was the last NDC? Was it just before 2022 elections?
The last NGC?
No, D.
NDC.
National Delegates Convention.
The last NDC was, I think, 2 years, a year before. It was in a year before last election.
So that's
and you know,
about
NDCs normally happen like after 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Most of the political parties,
Yeah.
you won't find more than one NDC in a span of 5 years.
Right.
If you find a special one, it's really, really special for it to be called, maybe for a coalition. It's called for very important decisions of the party.
Okay, all right. So let's transition, because as this was happening, the other political parties were busy in the field doing
Can
a
I
few
say
things.
something?
No, sorry, sorry, let's just transition. President William Ruto was in Ukambani on a tour of development. At the same time, said a few things that affect the leadership from there. Let's first hear what he had to say, and at the same time, what Kalonzo Musyoka has been saying.
Wacheni bana wasiharibu nchi yetu na watu ambaye ni watu bure. Hii Ukambani imechelewa kwa upinzani siku mingi. Mpango hawana, sera hawana, agenda hawana, hata akili. Wale watu wapumbavu wa mambo ya shares ya kusema ya kwamba ati nchi ya Kenya inaendeleshwa kwa mapendeleo ama kwa ubaguzi. Mimi nataka niwaambie hiyo ni siasa duni, siasa ya watu wajinga na siasa ambayo haina nafasi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Watakuja hapa, mtawasikia. Watakuwa tu na maneno tatu. Watakuja waseme one term, Kasongo must go. Hiyo ni ujinga, si ujinga. Ni ujinga, si ujinga. Sasa kuna watu wengine wajinga wanatuambia ya kwamba tusichanje ng'ombe yetu ndio tukose soko ya kimataifa. Sio ni ukumbavu. Let us ignore the naysayers. Let us ignore those who have nothing to offer to us except insults, name calling, and ethnicity. Let us focus on the future of the nation.
You can't cheat a whole nation. If there's a contractor on site, that contractor should be continuing. Of course, they'll come and say, oh, we're going to mobilize and whatever. But as a president, you should not have allowed them to go and launch a non-existing contract. Perhaps it's not even in the budget.
So the earlier clip is of the president on several occasions where he has said a few things that would appear berating on fellow leaders. And the other one is Kalonzo Musyoka reacting to the trip of the president to Ukambani. There's one that he actually got himself filmed showing a plaque of a plaque of where President Ruto had been to launch a project, but he was saying that all the machinery that had been deployed was no longer there on the same evening, or was it a day after? DJ Mwangangi, what did you make of that trip? Because he also came to Machakos to see progress of some of the projects that are being financed by the government. What do you make of it? Why do you laugh?
Because one of the projects he visited has been launched, now that was the 6th time.
6th launch, by who?
Him and his government. That is the housing project. Ask how many times he has come there. Ask how many. Anyway, the issue is that the president's trip. First and foremost, as the head of state, he has the right to visit any part of the country. But we have a challenge, slight challenge, on his conduct. In fact, I will say it here. I think there are qualities and characteristics of our president. I think somebody should appeal to Chief Justice to form maybe a commission to see if our president is still fit to hold that office. Because as a president, you are a unifying factor. As a president, you are a symbol of unity. As a president, you need to promote the constitution because it is on the basis of that constitution which you are ruling. You are leading the country. Now, when you have a president who sees others as people without an agenda, that is okay according to him. When you see a president who is abusing other leaders, and most likely you are abusing the person you are likely to hand over come 2027. As a president, you go launching projects that are devolved, are supposed to be counties. As a president, you are killing a devolution in this country. I don't think the president's tour in Ukambani had anything new to offer. Because even I can tell you, more than half of those projects we have checked and they have no even a budget. I don't know where he is going to get it from. Because as parliamentarians, and they are here, they are the ones who deal with the matters budget. Unless maybe a supplemental is brought and money is apportioned for some of those projects. So it is true, I agree. Kalonzo might not have a good agenda on slaughtering Kenyans, or abducting Kenyans, or land grabbing across this country, or mismanaging the affairs of this country. He might lack that aspect. But calling your worthy competitor as agendaless, as stupid, I think that is not a president of the country. And we have restrained ourselves for a long time, Sam. I think if president continues to abuse our leaders and disrespecting other leaders, then let him wait for the same. And it will be unfortunate because the former SG, I think he is doing those things because he chased a very able SG who could have advised him. I think if he continues, we will treat him as such. And it will be unfortunate because we want a stable country. He took over.
Sorry, what do you mean with that statement about former SG?
No, they chased her away. And you know, she's the only SG who has a record. By the way, since independence, I'm not praising her. I'm stating facts. I don't know her. I've never sat with her. I only read much about her. Yeah. She can confirm here. But she's the only SG since independence who has ran two different parties who have went ahead and formed the government. So that is a fact. But since she was chased away and nominated that she was chased parliament, away from the seat. No, those who planned so well, I think they chased her and maybe sent her to parliament.
Okay, DJ, hear you. Senator, I think on right of reply, were you chased from the seat of SG?
I was not chased from the seat of SG. I exited the seat of SG and allowed different leaders who never weighed up to what I had done to take over that seat.
You chose to leave or you asked to leave?
It was a discussion within the party. Yeah. And I left because you remember how I came in. Yeah. I was put in on an interim basis. And I expressed my intentions to serve at the Senate when we were discussing how we would do the nominations. Mm-hmm. And I was granted that. And the party wanted somebody who was going to be more full-time in the party. And I have also a belief that if you're holding a public position, you can hold for a time and allow others to hold. Now we can compare Veronica and Cleo Malala. Sidio, we can compare that and see who delivered what. Yeah, I also have an opportunity to compare.
The party wanted someone who is full-time SG?
More full-time SG who could sit at the party so that we could nurture the party to a better position.
So Hassan Omar is still a member of IALA?
Is member of IALA. It's less busier than being at the Senate. It's much less busier. So Hassan was given that, and he's also holding it on an interim position. In fact,
Senator Edwin Sifuna is also SG of ODM.
Yeah, because they have a different formulation. They don't run their party using our constitution. And he's a very strong SG.
And also our central committee is stronger.
And he's a strong SG. So I wouldn't.
So the point is, so there was the discussion.
Yes.
And
I take the compliment from him that I'm a good Secretary General, but I wasn't chased.
So there was a discussion.
Yes.
And it was your choice to step down?
It's fair to say so because that's what happened, and I don't like hypocrisy on some issues. Okay. Whether I was happy or not, that's a different conversation. But there was a conversation where I was involved and I discussed and was requested that somebody else could take over so that they serve in a more, you know, give more time to the party.
How successful have your successes been?
How successful? You would ask that. You can ask the deputy governor.
No, you're a member of ODM.
If he wasn't hard hitting, or you're asking successful on the government part.
How much of success would you attribute to your successors?
To you as
to my successors?
Yes.
That is, I have a conflict of interest in that because I don't think Malala performed well at all. Yeah. He was divisive. He came in naming people there as what were Veronica Maina, threatening to sack people who had really contributed to the party. I am not surprised that he failed to go to the next level in the UDA political party. And you can even see where he is right now. He's still causing a lot of division. I didn't agree with his leadership style. But I also believe, as a former Secretary General, my responsibility is to support the one who takes up the seat because that's what I needed members to do. And they did that, and I thank them and the coordinators who made me look good while they were doing so much of the work.
Let me hear comments about the trip to Ukambani and also the speeches attributed to the president about other leaders. Are you happy with that?
Once again, I have a little bit of a conflict of interest because first, I'm a member of ODM and UDA, and sorry, not ODM. No, ODM, I have never aligned with their philosophy or ideology. I am a member of UDA. I've always aligned with the political party that I led.
But now that party don't align with his working with your party?
I do align with the coalition agreement because political parties are dynamic. And a relationship between political parties changes with the dynamism of how the politics of the moment are. So this coalition was a great idea to give the broad-based arrangement. One of the things I would say about what the president has commented about the projects in Ukambani. Let me first assure my brother in Machakos when the president went there, it may have been the 4th time or the 6th time, but when a project commences, a project is launched, then when the works are ongoing, a leader can visit that project because it's within his manifesto, and then the project can now be handed over. I saw people receiving keys. I saw keys in Machakos in the housing project. The project was completed. That's why it was important for the president to say, we have delivered on this. And I would encourage all leaders, when you launch a project, go back and see whether it's been done. So that if it's not done, we can tell you are launching it twice or thrice. But if you tell the leader to sit in the office and the project is being done with the people, how will you ever know whether the projects are being delivered, even by the county governments? I think it is okay for president to visit even projects being done by the county because the allocation of resources comes from the national government to the county governments. They get a percentage. He has no role to supervise, but he has a role to see people have water. He has a role to see healthcare. Even if you say he has no role in healthcare, yet we want the government to deliver on healthcare. How then do we see whether we are advancing? And is he not Kenyan? He's a leader, he's Kenyan. Let me say this about the insults and the language. Myself, personally, I prefer politics that are toned down. Politics that everybody feels they belong, they feel part of it. But let me also be quick to say this. The most abused and insulted person in Republic of Kenya is President William Ruto. If you open sometimes the social media, the kind of posts that are being done, when people don't agree with you, they start insulting. Do people know, by the way, you can actually communicate? Let me finish what I'm saying, so that if it doesn't align with what you believe in, I still get the right to be heard on citizen.
We're discussing.
Now, being a most insulted person, an ordinary human being can react. An ordinary human being can react. If you keep insulting and insulting and insulting, the natural thing is somebody becomes defensive on the insults that you bring to their corner. So I think sometimes maybe the president, you respond in view of what is being called, when he's called a liar, he's called Kasongo, he's called, in even this broad-based arrangement, you hear some people will say blood-based, while in actual fact, there is nothing about blood. It is about broad-based arrangement, which accommodates much more people. I wish people could build on the positives instead of building on the negative. Myself as a leader, I find it much easier when my colleague is more respectful to me, does not have to get clips and bites based on insults, and when leaders can respect one another.
Okay.
But I think sometimes maybe the president reacts. It's not easy to be a president. I don't think it is easy to be a president in Republic of Kenya. But if you think it is hard to be a president in Republic of Kenya, go to Tanzania and tell me how easy it is to be a president as President Suluhu. So I would say this, let everybody tone down on any negative speak. And you know also I come from a very church background. Let everybody tone down.
All right.
We are approaching 2027. What these airwaves should be used for, we are parents. What these airwaves should be used for, some, is to encourage leaders now to take a position of toning down the political rhetorics, unifying the country more, and bringing everyone on board.
All right, Senator. Caleb, your thoughts about the development tour and the remarks made?
I'm very speechless because sometimes I wonder that there are still some Kenyans with the audacity to defend a lying president, knowing very well truly he's lying to Kenyans. It's you know, they say you can cheat some people all the time. You can even cheat some people sometime, but you can never cheat all the people all the time. It comes a time when people read through your lies. And I think the president must realize that Kenyans have read through his lies. It's the time to stop. It's time to change his way of doing things. Those around him are not helping him either. They are clapping. You can see the way they're clapping for him. I think leaders need to have people who will face you and tell you, sir, with due respect, this is wrong. It's not adding us value. Kenyans are not taking it nicely. Because in my constituency alone, the president has come there launching Tarubo, Sikendu, Lukome, Index, Kisawai, Swam, Road. Like now 6 times. It has never started. So when she says that sometimes you inspect...
6 times during his presidency,
yes.
As deputy president.
6 times.
But can you also say what has started so that we are
nothing.
balanced?
No, you know now, this type of interruption, I don't like it. I don't know how you'll control it. You know, I come from there. I'm talking about a road that have been championed since last parliament. And he has been launching it. And it has not started. This is exactly what we are talking about.
Is there an allocation for it?
Nothing. It is allocated in, you know, in rallies. Then we go on paper, is nothing. There is nothing. You have gone, you know, some have all the ministers from Murkomen. Murkomen knows all my roads because I've been to his office when he was a transport minister. Severally, from watchman to everybody knows me in that office, trying to champion for that road. I now came Churchill. Now Churchill had just to show me how badly the allocation through the budget committee was done, and that's why he's unable to allocate funds.
So there are no funds on paper?
There are no funds, but when you come on the ground, he'll say, I'm launching. It will start very soon. I mean, you know, we can praise him. He's our buddy.
So let me ask you, I think there's a committee you sit on. You sit at Nova State
Public Investments.
Public Investment Committees. So that's different from public accounts.
It is different.
But how does Parliament hold the president accountable for what he says he's going to do? Is there any framework?
There isn't, other than just asking questions and statements. I mean, you've got my records. I've asked several statements, several questions on those roads. Nothing has happened. The answers are always the same. Funds will be allocated. There is limited on budgetary allocation. Yep. Yep. It's always the same thing. And you know, it does not add any value to any Kenyan to praise a person who is lying to them. You need to just walk to him. Sometimes some of us, I really praise Baba because you could walk to Baba, you say, sir, you know, I'm your son, nini, and you ask him, I don't agree with this, and he accepts and changes. I don't know why the president doesn't have that people who can walk to him and tell you, sir, We are talking about a bigger picture. You know, God has given you a platform. Kindly.
Why are you undermining the abilities of Senator Maina?
I don't know. I have not mentioned her name. She's not the only one. She's not the one.
Sam,
But I think, Sam, just give me a moment, because I'm a neutral arbiter in this. I'm not a president MP. I'm not in UDA. Neither am I in Wiper. So I'm a neutral arbiter.
Okay.
And even for Kalonzo to go there, with due respect again, it wasn't necessary. That is the work of Morara. It's not the work of you know, he was also reducing himself. He could just ask the deputy here to, go and check, is this true or not? But for him, he shouldn't have even bothered. Everybody knows that the president has lied to us. You don't even need to be, don't labor confirming actually.
All right, Mheshimiwa Messi. Senator Okech, your final word on this topic of Ukambani tour and the sentiments.
Two things.
And please restrict yourself to that.
Yeah, two things, very quickly. I think that there's no objectivity on the part of my two brothers, Caleb Amisi and my brother DG Mwangangi, and it's a very good friend of mine, because it's very easy and very nice to score political points when you are opposing everything, right? But the truth is that President Ruto has done much more work if I start with the side of Mwangangi, because you're not holding Mwangangi accountable. Mwangangi is actually a DG. He's an executive member in Machakos. There are more national projects going on in Machakos, of high impact projects in Machakos County by the national government that we know than his docket is. I always, I sit in the two committees that actually do oversight Machakos County. I can tell you for a fact that if you look at the water projects in Machakos and the larger, eastern, there are national projects that are going on. But if you look at the WSPs, the water service providers in Machakos, in Machakos County, they are underperforming. In fact, if you look at the loss of non-revenue water by you, the executive in Machakos, is one thing. You've appeared before me with money that is lost in those companies, the WSPs in Machakos. If you look at the hospitals, FIF in Machakos, they have been failing compared to the health side that the national government is putting. It's only that you brought this late at the age, and I'm coming in at the age, but I can even show you the high impact projects that are in Western Kenya, including Mount Elgon area.
Not in my constituency.
Even in your constituency, extended projects that are going to your constituency. There's just no time.
You don't know my constituency better than I do.
No, but this is, I have got high government impact projects here that I can show you a number of them, including some that are cross-cutting, like the Malakisi water project that is going to cut across Mount Elgon area. 19 billion has been put to this project. You just go online and look at high government impact projects that have been done in different areas. You get them and send them to...
document
I'm a member
from various ministries.
I'm a member of Parliament.
The author of this is, I'm talking about if you go to the Ministry of Water, you'll get their high impact documents. You go to the Ministry of Road, you'll get the... You just go to every single ministry. There are different line items. Like for instance,
you have a document on your just on your document. Do you know the author?
You want me to go to you?
The author of that document you're reading.
All ministries have got different highlighted projects that they have done. For instance, if you go to the Ministry of Road now, I'm live now, you'll find that the 179 billion road bond project, right, that they were in, the 68 billion that has been raised, there are a number of roads that have been advertised by Kera, Kura, and Kenha that cut across his constituencies.
Advertised.
I can't just, advertised means that they have been
tendered, they have been
allocated to them.
That's fine.
So you can't advertise. It's a cycle.
Senator Okech, Senator Maina, Mheshimiwa Messi, and
this was a very short discussion. I wish this was
DG
Call us on projects.
We'll have another session.
So we give you information.
So that we give you facts.
It is 8:06. We'll have a moment to discuss this. I just have a minute to look at a few posts on X that you have shared with us as your feedback on the show. But Sweaty Julius, you're saying that after Baba's demise, ODM's noble mission of fighting for the people has been replaced with this scramble for attention from government. A principled party is increasingly becoming a theater of rivalry. ego and opportunism, risking its eventual split or death. Ray Baraza, it's evident that ODM party is now in a confusion mode. Different factions within the party speaking differently is what we are seeing. It's very unfortunate that even the old folks in the party cannot agree and give direction. Some way of worth, the ODM party matters now more than ever. While some want to downplay it, ODM remains the real counterbalance to Ruto's regime. The party commands significant numbers in parliament and has the power to influence major decisions. Then Silvers, you're saying that Ruto keeps mum on the 10, chasing 2027 politics, while Kenyans wait for real change and implementation of the 10 points. And finally, Babu Michael, as ODM celebrates 20 years, key leaders must learn something from Raila Odinga. He never became Kenya's president, but his legacy is celebrated all over the country. Forming government isn't an achievement, but always championing people's interests is. All right, thank you so much for that feedback. Now, I owe you another repeat show. We can agree on when we meet to talk about the projects in the country and, of course, okay, asante. Sorry, your mic is off. Mheshimiwa Miss is just confirming that he's a member of Saboti, not Mount Elgon. Asanteni sana. Up next is Sporty Monday. See you again next time. Bye, thanks.